there, fellow dudes, I got a question for you. Do you find it attractive when women play video games? Oh, you do? Great, so you're like every other male on the face of this earth. Well, Kotaku has put out this brilliantly big-brained article about how men are upset that 50% of women play video games. So welcome back to Words of Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idle, and let's go over this bizarre article that's trying to paint men as angry at female gamers for, existing. Data shows most Switch owners are women. Gamers react poorly. It says gamers react poorly. So wait, are only men gamers? Are you stating from the title alone that these female Switch owners themselves aren't gamers, that only men are gamers? So if gamers react poorly and women are gamers as well, wouldn't that also mean that women are reacting poorly, that women are 50% of Switch owners? You gotta work on your title game there, Kotaku. The new data also reveals that 45% of Xbox owners and 41% of PS5 owners are female too. This really shouldn't be news, and it certainly shouldn't be surprising to anyone, but yes, new data from Circana shows that, as we told you in 2017, women play video games. Well, let me tell you, this isn't news. I've not ever had a female friend or a female girlfriend, significant other, whatnot, or at least for very long, that, I couldn't game with, that I couldn't get down on playing a game with. A friend of mine, one of my best friends, in fact, my single best friend in the world, is a female. I ain't gonna say her name, but let me just tell you, she knows more about Cult of the Lamb than me, because I, a dude who just enjoys video games, know the game exists, and that's about it. She could tell you intricate lore details about Cult of the Lamb. You know what else she enjoys doing? Playing Magic the Gathering. And she ain't one of those frumpy, fat, ugly, I want to be like the dudes, girl gamers. No, she's a relatively attractive female gamer, and at the end of the day, women play video games. Most men love it when women play video games, and no one doesn't believe that women play video games. You're trying to sow this division between gamers and make men out to be the bad guys, when the vast majority of dudes love women that play games, if they are real gamers. In fact, more than half of all Switch owners are women, and a very vocal bunch of idiots are reacting about as well as you'd expect to this revelation. Notice how they don't link you to any sort of, reactions, any sort of tweets or anything to that effect. I've read this article. They don't do that throughout the entirety of the article. They keep claiming there's this contingent of angry dudes out there, but they don't show any sources, not even any tweets that are of, any sort of negativity. They do show tweets about the survey or about the responses, but not anything from these angry men that seem to exist. On June 9th, Matt Piscatella, the executive director and video game industry analyst at Circana, formerly NPD, tweeted out some newly released data about who is buying and playing video games in the United States. And this is him. According to Circana's Player Pulse, so far in the US during 2023, 47% of console video game players are female, which is 1% up versus last year. And yeah, that makes sense. This same female gamer that I was talking about, this is my friend, she owns both an Xbox One, and a Switch, plus, obviously plays mobile games. So yeah, I can imagine 47% of console video game players being female, just anecdotally thinking of her. 50% of PC video game players are female. Now, she doesn't own a PC, but guess what? My good friend, Cult Classic Cage, fellow content creator and queen of the tomboys, is absolutely a PC master racist. I mean, I don't know if I said it the right way. Sorry, Cass. Yeah, women also play on PC. Once again, not a shock. 54% of mobile video gamer players are female, 1% up from last year. I won't lie, I expected that number to be a bit higher, actually. First, Piscatella revealed that so far in 2023, according to Circana's Player Pulse, a monthly study tracking consumer awareness and engagement. Now, it does not say how this study actually works. It doesn't go on to explain the details of how they get this information. It goes on to attempt to debunk some of the things that people suggest, but doesn't actually explain it itself. So, yes, you can obviously go to the Piscatella, Twitter page, or maybe their own website if they have one, and maybe look up how they do it. But you would think for journalistic integrity purposes, if they're trying to make men look like monsters, they'd include some stats or how this study actually backs up their own claims. But of course, it's Kotaku. They don't do that, guys. A lot of women are playing games on all platforms under the sun. Specifically, 47% of console video game players, 50% of PC video game players, and 54% of mobile video game players are female. And all three of these stats are up 1% versus last year. Piscatella then posted more data about how many women own specific consoles in the United States. 41% on the PS5s in the US. Frankly, I don't know how 41% of women could get a PS5. Those things were out of stock for so long, but I digress. 45% Xbox Series S. See, this is how you know there are women playing consoles. Women very often make poor choices, and the fact that they chose Xbox over PlayStation more often just goes to show, yeah, there's definitely women playing video games. These consoles are owned by women according to Circana's monthly analysis and surveys. More interesting is that over half, 52% of Switch owners in the US, are women. Now, I can definitely believe this. The Switch is a very popular console, and almost every woman in my life I know owns a Switch. Whether they're playing it for Legend of Zelda, again, Cult of the Lamb, whether they're going the more casual route. The only reason I know about the video game Omori is from my friend B, Honeybee T, who you saw do a reaction to an Omori song with me literally a few days ago. Yeah, again, these stats aren't shocking. I want to know about this division you're sowing. Why are men so angry about this? Spoiler alert, they aren't. Angry gamer bros react to reality. While many people reacted to this data with sensible, yeah, that makes sense. You mean like your boy's saying right now? Or, yup, that is reality. I met plenty of women who play games in 2023. Ding, ding, ding. You're right again, Kotaku. You know, you pepper in these truths every now and again, but you always do so in effort to make more division and just obtuse arguments later on. So I'm not really giving you credit for these truths you're speaking right now. Some annoying dudes had a different reaction, and no, you don't get a prize for guessing that they lost their shit. In the replies to Piscatella's tweets, many have reacted to the data with anger, skepticism, and shitty jokes. First of all, comedy's subjective. You don't get to say what is a shitty joke. I literally, a few sentences ago, made a joke about women making bad decisions and buying Xbox over PlayStation 5. Guess what? I don't own either of those consoles. You know what your boy owns? A Switch and a PC. So yeah, shitty jokes does not mean that, you know, oh, men hate women. My 3 best friends are all female. All of them, again, have Switches, like, and they love those sort of jokes because the camaraderie is what builds friendships. As for skepticism, yeah, I could believe some skepticism as well if you don't explain how the study is done, which again, this article does not. Anger, I highly doubt there's any anger. Unless we're talking about anger at, like, Twitch e-thoughts that, you know, game, but really they're just sitting in a bikini playing something super simple, dying a bunch, and begging for their money. Frankly, I'd be upset at those kind of women too, but I'm more upset at the dudes who actually pay for those sort of women, thinking that that little bit of interaction is going to get her to eventually majestically show up on your doorstep and suck your cock. Some suggested the data is wrong, or that the owner's stats are skewed by moms buying consoles for boys. This isn't how the monthly surveys work or how data is collected, something Piscatella pointed out in follow-up tweets. Now here's my problem. These are surveys, and yes, I get it, surveys are really one of the only, like, tangible methods we have for collecting data. Well, I mean, that isn't like internet collecting your data behind the scenes then selling it to the Indians. But the point is, most people, when they're asked to take a survey, only the dumb people actually take surveys. Most people just tell you to piss off, I don't want to take a survey. So I really can't trust survey results as an actual legitimate form of, look at this data, it's completely true. Because only the lowest common denominator individuals, male or female, you know, actually take surveys. If they ask 200 people for a survey and 150 people say no, but 50 people say yes, and they use the results of those 50 people to generate the survey, that's not going to be an accurate number because we don't know what the 150 people that declined the survey would have said. Those answers could have drastically altered the survey's numbers. So at the end of the day, surveys are not necessarily accurate. They should always be taken with a grain of salt. If there's any other numbers that you can use to back up before going to a survey, definitely do so. Now again, this is not me trying to, you know, defend these apparently angry dudes. I obviously think women play video games. I've talked about it in this, you know, whole video right here. But saying that a survey is what you have to go off of for this data, it doesn't build me with a lot of confidence considering surveys are so easily skewed and abused. All of these silly theories are not only wrong, but reveal that a lot of these dudes likely have little contact with actual women, for that matter, reality itself. They go on to chastise guys, but here you are being antagonistic towards guys this whole article. No wonder guys are having trouble trying to find women that play video games when you go to articles like this from websites like Kotaku, when it's just all about people, you know, women usually, shitting on dudes who play games, who have this sort of hobby. Like, it is no wonder that Cassie, Classic Cage, talks all the time about how she can't get along with other females 9 times out of 10, because yeah, this is how women are. This is the pettiness that comes with the majority of women, especially women in positions like this at Kotaku, where they get to write stuff like this. I have not checked to see if this article was written by a woman. I should do that real quick. Okay, never mind. This article was in fact written by a dude, Zach Zwin. Or was it? Let's see if they got any some of the tranny shenanigans going on. Okay, never mind. No tranny shenanigans, but definitely an unappealing specimen. So maybe transitioning would actually be a boon for this guy. Back to the article. Well, this completely slaughters the gamer argument that stats like 49% of video game players are women are referring to Candy Crush, says Jason Schreier. What's very funny about the reactions from these angry gamers is that many of them are dunking on themselves very hard. I've seen multiple men post that they can't find these gamer girls, and thus, they don't buy these stats. And to be fair, I actually completely understand this sentiment, because my friends, they play games, but they don't go about just talking about games all the time. They're not obsessive like so many men are about games. I mean, don't get me wrong, Honeybee T can talk your ear off about Omori any day of the week, but she doesn't go around frothing at the mouth trying to talk to everyone on the internet about Omori. When it comes up in conversation, she holds her own. When it doesn't, talking about other things, makeup, or other girl things. I don't know. I'm a dude, believe it or not. So yeah, when guys say they can't find these gamer girls, it's because women just don't talk about games near as often, even when they are gamers. That's been my anecdotal experience, at least. Checking their other tweets, it's pretty clear why women might be avoiding them. Others asked where all these women were on online games like Call of Duty, pointing out that they rarely hear girls in multiplayer lobbies. To those people, I suggest you scroll through all the angry replies to Piscatella's stats and take note of all the mad dudes making fun of women for playing The Sims or mobile games, calling them fake gamers, and inventing elaborate conspiracy theories involving data manipulation and woke agents. And there you go. You're saying scroll through all these angry replies, but you don't provide any. And you know what? I've changed my mind. It makes perfect sense that this article was written by a dude, because Zach is simping for these gamer girls. He's like, oh my god, Amaranth, please, I want you to come to my house. Please, Amaranth, suck me dry. Like, no, clearly this article was written by a dude who wants to get with these gamer girls, and then will probably come out later as, you know, some sort of pedophile or something, like these sort of dudes on the left that preach the loudest about feminism often tend to come out as. Yeah, I wonder why women might want to keep a low profile when playing online games or interacting with gaming communities. Well, maybe if women were to come out and be competent and talk and joke with the guys and not get butthurt about, you know, talking shit, which guys often do, they would be more accepted. Every female gamer that I'm friends with loves trash talk just as much, if not more, than the guys. But if you're gonna run to Twitter and talk about how someone made an offensive joke, no wonder you're gonna get ostracized by the community. If you want to play with the big boys, well, you gotta stone up a little bit. And that's going for anyone. I'm sure there are dudes out there that cry like little bitches when someone drops an F-bomb to them in the chat. I'm not saying that soy boys don't play video games either. But the point is, if you want to be taken seriously in a culture, you also have to take that culture seriously. The reality is that millions of people play video games in 2023, but also women have been playing video games since there were video games. Barbie Fashion Designer outsold Doom and Quake in 1996 and was the 9th best-selling PC game of that year. Of course, women were also playing Doom and Quake back then too. I'm sure far less women were playing Doom and Quake back then compared to now. Let's not, look, I get it, women play games, but that number has drastically increased in the last 30 years. Let's be honest. I say let's be honest, it's Kotaku. So angry dudes online, maybe stop acting so defensive and shitty about games being played by women. Where's all the anger? Post some tweets, give us some screenshots, show some evidence, have some journalistic integrity, my guy. And instead realize they've always been here, and if you feel like they're hiding from you, maybe ask yourself why that is. No. Dudes, keep being dudes, because you want to know what? Dudes have kept the gaming industry in the position it is for the last 30 or so years, give or take. The women being involved in gaming, as amazing as that is a relatively new thing to the last 10 to 15 years. So, obviously, if we kept gaming, you know, as sort of an apex type of entertainment medium, we were doing something right as the consumers and as the community behind it. Just let women join in on the fun, don't change the fun to accommodate them. Look guys, I love it when women play video games. There's very little that is sexier to me than a woman that is good at a fighting game. Like, oh my god, I went to a Dragon Ball FighterZ tournament a couple years ago and there was this badass woman player. She came in like 4th place, which for a technical fighting game tournament, really fucking good, and just, wow, oh my goodness, was that attractive to look at. She was also very technically skilled at the game. Again, 4th place in a fighting game tournament, that ain't an easy feat. Like, there is very little that men love more than women that play video games. There's also very little that men hate more than women who whine and cry and complain because they're treated poorly during video games. That's kind of part of the culture. It's a hard knocks culture. You just gotta love it and appreciate it or get out. You don't get to get all the good stuff without accepting the bad stuff as well. That's part of the culture. So no, it's not a buffet you get to pick and choose from. At that point, you're acting like a trans athlete. You want all the best parts about being a woman while also dominating them in their own sports. We don't play that game. So women, if you want to be in the video game community, your boy Leon is here to happily welcome you to it. Happily here to say, come on, let's get down on some Doom. and then maybe get down on something else if we end up having some sort of connection. I'm just saying. The point is, yes, women are welcome, but articles like these where they try and divide male and female gamers against one another and act like there's this ongoing battle of the sexes, that ain't welcome. But those are just my opinions. Let me know yours in the comments below, or let me know on Twitter where you can find me at BoltTheWord. And please do subscribe. I am a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news every day, not just about video games, but anime, Magic the Gathering, movies, you name it. It's all here in the nerdosphere. And this has been Words of Paradise.